जय राम। I want to take this opportunity to thank the temple management team, Prabhu, Shankar Prabhu, and Govinda Priya for giving me this opportunity to listen this in Bhagavad Gita, and who's given as it is, Srila Prabhupada. So we'll start with the prayers. Om Govinda Krishna Krishna Chaturveda Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanande Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Kashasthayatakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we'll be discussing Bhagavad Gita sloka number 5.25. We can recite the sloka. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram Suddham sarvabhutanam Ratma mam shanti mrachati. Any Prabhu want to recite?
Bhoktaram yajna
Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka लोकमहेश्वरम् सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिरुच्यते. So as we discussed, today's theme is peace, and this is the peace formula that is described in Bhagavad Gita. Now let's read the translation. Bhokta, the beneficiary, yajna of sacrifices, tapasya, and penances and austerities, Sarvaloka, of all planets and the demigods thereof, Maheshwara, the Supreme Lord, Shurda, the benefactor, Sarva, of all, Bhutana, the living entities, Natva, thus known, Mam, me, Lord Krishna, Shanti, relief from material pangs, Ruchati, one achieves. Translation. A person in full conscious of me, knowing me, be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material distress. So to understand this sloka, we have to understand aspects of Krishna to attain peace from material miseries. So what are the material miseries? Scriptures say there are three types of material miseries. Adhyatmika, miseries inflicted by the body and the mind itself. So this is the cause of major stress in everyone's life as well, I think. So imagine this after a long 4-day weekend, you have to go to Monday at work and you are preparing for a big presentation and you're all prepared, but somehow you end up saying something that you were not prepared or not look forward. And the presentation is over, everything is done, but you may spend the entire day Monday thinking of, oh my God, why did I say this? What do my co-workers think? What is going to happen in my one-on-one agenda with my boss? Now all this overthinking and everything will happen, and that will cause stress and stress. But in actuality, the co-workers will not even notice, or the boss will not even think about it. We overthink and we cause the miseries by our own mind and body. The second misery is Adi Bhautika, miseries inflicted by other living entities. We may be good, doing good, well prepared citizens, we are following everything, but there might be miseries inflicted by other living entities which just happen. The third one is Aditaika, miseries from natural disturbances. No one knew that 2 years ago we all will be struck by pandemic, COVID, flood, hurricane, and whatnot. All natural earthquakes, fire, disturbances happen. So let's see how can we be at peace from these material miseries. So the first aspect of this sloka is Bhoktaram Tapasam. Krishna is the only enjoyer. Is it visible in close? No, sorry. Okay. Yeah. So to understand that Krishna is the only enjoyer, we need to first understand what's the real purpose of yajna. So the Lord Brahma created all living entities, human beings and demigods, and advised them to perform yajnas according to satisfy their material desires. The purpose of these yajnas might be to get material desires, but simultaneously it is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such performances are karma, but they do have the devotional touch. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, though these materially rituals, karma kanda, though contaminated by the material modes of nature like ignorance, passion, and weakness, have a tinge of devotional service, because even a tinge of bhakti is very important and shows a endure to Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what is the real purpose of yajna? The demigods are nothing but administrators of the Supreme Lord. They supply air, light, water, and all other benediction to keep our mind and body together, soul together. This is the job of the demigods. But they do not accept the sacrifices for themselves. They accept the sacrifices for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What's the example? Prabhupada beautifully states that the demigods cannot accept sacrificial offerings for themselves, but they can accept for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like a tax collector. He collects tax, not for himself, but on behalf of the government. So the demigods are empowered and administrators who take orders from the Supreme Personality of God. There might be a lot of yajnas like Surya yajna, Indra yajna, Chandra yajna. All of these are performed to please the demigods, but the demigods are nothing but the bodily parts of the Supreme Personality of God. Their pleasures and displeasures, of course, are decided by the yajnas, but Lord Vishnu should be worshipped as the ultimate beneficiary of all of these sacrifices. He is the Yajnapati. He is the ultimate beneficiary of all the yajnas and sacrifices that are being performed. So, how can we understand this? When we want to water a plant, when we water the roots, the leaves and branches automatically get nourished. Like that, when we satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the demigods are already satisfied, because they are the bodily parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the same example, if we want to satisfy the senses of our body, if we give food, automatically all the body parts, all the senses are satisfied. We can see this as an example in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Bharat Maharaj has performed sacrifices, but he is performing the sacrifices with the understanding that this is going to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the priests were about to offer the sacrificial ingredients into the fire, Maharaj Bharata expertly understood how the offerings are made to different demigods who are nothing but the limbs of the Lord. Like Indra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead's arm, and Surya is the eye of the Lord. So this can also be read in the translation in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, 7th Chapter, 6th Sloka. After performing the preliminaries of various sacrifices, Maharaj Bharata offered the results in the name of religion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. In other words, he performed all the yajnas for the satisfaction of the Lord Vasudeva Krishna. Maharaj Bharata thought that since the demigods were different parts of Vasudeva's body, he controls those who are explained in the Vedic mantras. By thinking this way, Maharaj Bharata was freed from all material contaminations such as attachment, lust, greed. When the priests were about to offer sacrificial ingredients into fire, Maharaja Bharata expertly understood how the offering made to the different demigods was simply an offering to the different limbs of the Lord. For instance, Indra is the arm of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Surya, the sun, is his eye. Thus, Maharaj Bharata considered that the oblations offered to different demigods were actually offered onto the different limbs of Lord Vasudeva. So, we have to understand that Bhokthara Yajna Tapasa. All the sacrifices yajnas are meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what is the sacrifice and austerities that is recommended this age? Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Hari Nama Eva Kevalam Kalu Nashteva Kathir Anyate. So the highest sacrifice one can perform in this Kali is to chant the holy name, and by taking shelter of Lord's name. Through this, one can realize the absolute truth. The ninefold process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam is the best method for satisfying the Lord. One who cannot take this direct process of devotional service can do the indirect process of yajnas, which again is the ultimate satisfaction for Lord Vishnu. And also Krishna is more pleased by what? Krishna is more pleased when the grains and ghee are offered to him as prasad rather than offered to the fire. First to the brahmanas and then to others. This is more pleasing to Krishna. Furthermore, there is so much scarcity of all the ingredients that we can see that there is so much adulteration happening in the ingredients that has to be offered to the yajna. Like we are all hearing it in all the news and everything, right? So it is very tough to get, not sustainable even to get the pure ingredients to offer to in the yajna sacrifices. And some people use oil. Oil is never supposed to be used in this sacrifices as well. So this is chanting the holy name, doing the japa yajna is the most sustainable way as well. So what's the difference between spiritual activity and material activity? Even though it may superficially look that it has been done for material, but what is the real difference? The distinction between the materialistic activity and spiritual activity is actually the intent with which we are doing. The spiritual activity is meant to satisfy the transcendental senses of Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas the material activity is meant to satisfy one's own senses, sense gratification, and which actually makes one person get entangled in the laws of karma. So, as we know, there is this ladder that is described in the 5 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Vikarma, Karma Kanda. The ultimate is Bhakti Yoga. Activities and no. But for devotees, they just take the Prabhupada elevator and go direct to Krishna, fix their mind in the devotional service of the Lord. That is the pure devotee's mind. So the second aspect of this sloka, Sarva Loka Maheshwara. So we just saw Bhoktaram Ekatapasam. So the second aspect of this sloka is Sarva Loka Maheshwara. Krishna is the only master. So Krishna is present in every living entity through his expansions. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, knowing me to be the cause of all causes. So Krishna controls the entire planetary universe, material and spiritual planets. Aham Sarvasya Mata Sarvam Pravartate. I am the source of all material and spiritual planets. Everything emanates from me. Even in the Ishopanishad, we can see that Isha Vashyam Idam Sarva. Everything animate and inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by me. So the living Krishna controls everything and he's present within every living entity. He controls all the spiritual and material planets. How can we understand this? But by reading the scriptures we understand this, but still we lord it over the material nature. We think we are the doer, but actually it is happening through His mercy. We don't. How can there is a history that we can read from ancient story Alexander the Great. So Alexander the Great was greatest ruler in the ancient history. He conquered the entire world at the age of 32. And he never lost even one battle in his lifetime. But at the deathbed, he had 3 wishes to his generals. 1, my physicians must carry my body alone. I want the path leading to my grave to be strewn with gold, silver, and precious stones that are treasury while my body is being carried to be buried. 3rd wish. My 3rd and last wish is that both my hands be kept dangling out of my coffin. Why is he saying this? Nobody could save him. Lot of people, so highly educated physicians, but nobody could save him. Death was inevitable. He wanted to show the world that let my physicians carry my body alone. Second one, he wanted the path to be filled with gold, silver, and gems. What does this say? He had all the wealth in the world, but nothing he could enjoy at the last. He said, leave my hands, both my hands outside. We may have everything, but we are not going to take anything. We come empty-handed, we go empty-handed. So we have to understand the ultimate owner of everything is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. How even in the scriptures we can see this from Mother Yashoda following her footsteps. So when we all know this pastime when Krishna ate the dirt and Mother Yashoda was so much caring and she wanted to check out how he is doing. When Krishna opened the mouth, she could see the entire universe within. She could see herself within the mouth of Krishna. And that time what she remembers and she says is, I am not the owner of positions, the opulent wife of Nanda Maharaj, the estate, the possessions, the cows and the calves and the subjects like gopis and cowherd men are all given to me. Nothing belongs to anyone but the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We forget this. We think it's my home, my land, my property, my car, but keep reminding ourselves that this all were given to us by the Supreme Personality of Godhead for purpose. So the third aspect of this slogan is Krishna is the real friend. Shubhardam Sarvabhutana. So Lord is eagerly waiting for us. So the natural position of living entities is to serve the Lord. But we fall down because of free will. Because we are envious of Krishna, we are jealous about him and we want to become him. So living entities fall down because of this jealousiness, right? And when we fall, we have the company of Paramatma within us. And Paramatma is constantly looking for us to listen to his instructions. Like the two birds in the tree. One bird witnesses everything we are doing. The other bird goes next fruits. We enjoy the fruits of the tree. But what actually the Lord wants is turn to him, listen to him, what he is saying, and go back. He is eagerly waiting when this Jivatma will listen to me. When he will understand Paramatma within him, the Paramatma is so close to the Jivatma within our body, and he's waiting, eagerly waiting for us to listen to him. So all we need in our day-to-day life is non-envious friends, right? So most of you would have known Simon Sinek. He's a motivational speaker. Recently, I heard him speak that having friends whom you can call when bad things happen is one thing. The other aspect is calling friends when good things happen to you, right? That is more important. So you can all take a moment and see how many of you call each other for your friends for which activities. So he states that the number of friends I call to express that good things happen to me is less than bad things happen. So of course both are important, but what we need around us is not envious friends who are real well-wishers of us. So how is this real friendship even possible? So the power of is very limited. Although one claims to be a friend, he cannot be a friend unlimitedly. So-called husband, relative, son, father, whoever, right? They're not actually our well-wisher, they're trying to be. But actual well-wisher should also have the power to help us. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always like a father and mother looking for being a well-wisher. Despite all the offenses a son makes, father and mother is always forgiving. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually forgiving, and he is our real friend, can help in any situation. He is also a friend to everyone. How can we understand this from the scriptures? So Putana's purpose was to kill Krishna. She was killed, she attained the highest position, achieving the status of mother. So Krishna is so kind and impartial, and he's a friend for everyone. Even when the demons are killed, we see historical from the scriptures. Even when the demons are killed, they attain the position, higher position by the mercy of the Lord. This is also, we can also see this in another scriptural evidence through Shishupala. Shishupala was always absorbed in thought of Krishna, and thus he first got the salvation, right? King Yudhishthira Maharaj arranged for a sacrifice, and he invited all the sages and brahmanas to perform the sacrifice. And Shahadev was recommended by Lord Krishna, in spite of everyone being present, all demigods, everyone being present, but who's the person who has to be respected in this assembly? Sahadev recommended that we have to have Lord Krishna, who's the proprietor of everything, respected here. Shishupala was envious. He's jealous of Krishna. But Krishna also had gave him a boon to his mother that if he exceeds the limit of 100 times, then he would get the punishment. But Shishupal was envious, and he kept on, his ego took over. Though he knows this more, but his ego took over, and he kept on telling about things about Krishna. But when that 99 time went, 100 time came, he was executed by Krishna. He was still delivered a higher position where he could reinstate his original position of personal service to the Lord. So Krishna is not partial, he is also friend of everyone. So how can we be a well-wisher in our limited capacity to others, right? People are generally ignorant of Krishna consciousness. So when we say, okay, we are friends, we spend a lot of time together, the best way for us to tell other person for their benefit is to rise above this materialistic platform and go to the spiritual platform. Because often the solutions we might give only solves symptoms of the problem, but the root cause of the problem can only be solved through God conscious or self-realization. So we as friends, whoever it might be, we can try telling about God conscious, Krishna conscious to our friends and relatives, family members, and give them the solution, because our real friendship is really limited in this materialistic platform. Only Krishna will be able to help them in any situation that we may not be even able to handle or know or advise. So why there is no peace in the world, in spite of knowing all of this, right? The whole world is sacrificing energy for their own self-gratification. Godless people. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Raja Rishi. We need leaders who are Raja and Rishi, who can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and rule the country accordingly. But even the leaders are mostly not like that, and there is a lot of confusion, frustration every day in the world, and due to the lack of God conscious and Krishna consciousness, all of the everything that negativity we see around the world is happening. So how can we face the material mysteries? Whenever one is perplexed, let's take the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. This will help us surpass all the difficulties. This was also the advice given by Kashyapa Muni in the Srimad Bhagavatam to his wife in the 8th canto. So, material difficulties are not easy to overcome. It will always be there, even for devotees. But every time we face a material difficulty, we always go back and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That will help us to overcome the difficulties. So, the sloka is actually the peace formula. Bhoktaram Ignatapasam. The only enjoyer, beneficiary of all sacrifices is Krishna. Sarvaloka Maheshwara, the only master, proprietor of all universes, including material and spiritual. Shubhardhan Sarvabhutanam, the only real friend, best friend of every living entity. So, this is the peace formula we all need. 1 and 2 shows the power of Krishna, and the third point shows how he can be a friend to us, right? We need a friend who can protect us through all the ups and downs of our life and help us overcome it and finally go back to Godhead. So, this is the conclusion of this shloka 5.29. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, corrections? I may not be qualified, but I can try or ask any devotees to help.
Thank you, Mataji, for a wonderful class. I think the topic also was so nice. Today we need at this moment yes, the world. Share some of your experiences. What inspired you to join Krishna consciousness in your early days?
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji's question is what inspired me to join Krishna consciousness in early days. As a child, when I grew up, I did not believe in all the rituals that my parents used to do. I used to ask questions to them, why do we do Shodhya? But they don't have answers. They just said accept it. We are doing for a reason. And through life, there were a lot of difficulties, ups and downs, but could not find why. I was in India and I relocated to California in Silicon Valley. I was close there, and there was a class that was conducted by the temple that was called as Discover Yourself. I was thinking, okay, let me attend. We have tried. I've read a lot of other self-development books, tried other meditations from Buddhism and everything. So I thought, let me try out this as well. When I went there for the first class, the first slide that she told was question. Question. That is the ultimate knowledge that a human form can have. Question everything around you. I've always been brought up that don't question anything, don't ask anything. But the whole Bhagavad Gita was all about the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna asking questions. And Arjuna is asking questions not for him but on behalf of us. So there is every answer in this scripture. And in fact, I had like loads of books, self-development books. I don't read anything now. All of it is there. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is one book that we have to for our own peace and self-development, that is Bhagavad Gita, and there was never looking back. That was the start of my journey. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
In your entire representation, you have surrounded everything around Krishna. Why did you excluded Ram?
Intentionally exclude Ram, but we all know Ram Krishna as himself. There could be some examples or evidences from Lord Ram also. I could share.
So you include Ram?
Yes.
Thank you.
So that verse refers to Krishna. All the passage referring, the things you mentioned refers to Krishna. But how can there be peace? Because that requires faith in Krishna. And how do you have peace in Bangladesh when there is no faith in Krishna to begin with?
How could we have Krishna?
Peace.
How do you have peace without faith in Krishna? You need to have faith.
Yeah.
But there are people without faith in Krishna to begin with.
Yeah, and that is one of the reason why there is so much calamities. And that's what even Krishna says as a reason, Rajarishi. We do not have leaders of the country who can understand the God conscious and rule according to the scriptures. Uh, there are two parties, one who's causing the problem and who's become the victims of the problem, and they are undergoing all the stress. Of course, the cause of problem because they are not God conscious, maybe that's my understanding. They are not ruling according to the scriptures. And the other side of the equation is the people who are going through this stress. But if they are devotees, they can definitely take the shelter of the Lord with the faith.
I know that's a very good answer. That the leaders don't have. If the leaders have faith, then they'll be peace. Also, this formula is about how we can have peace in spite of not being in a peaceful environment. You see, if we know Krishna is our friend, and we know Krishna is very powerful, then we'll be at peace. Like Prahlad, he has no peace around him, but he is at peace with him.
So, peace from the pangs of material miseries. Material miseries are going to be there. Dukkhalema shashvatam. There is going to be dukkha, and this is going to be temporary. But we can overcome this by taking the shelter of the Lord. Shri Govinda ki jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Srinath Gopal ki jai.
Thank you very much, Lalita Govinda Priya Mataji. Let's loud Hari Bol! A wonderful class. I believe this is the first time you gave this class, so it's wonderful that the first time. And